Okay, welcome again. So we were talking about software, system software and application software. If you look at system software, we have got OS, compilers and drivers. What is OS? OS is operating system. OS is operating system. Now I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to ask you one question here. That question is, whenever we switch on the computer, what happens? What happens? There will be some processes taking place inside, and then at the end of that you will have some screen on which you will see some icons and all that, and you can communicate with the computer, right? Now what is happening, what that process is all about, and what is happening whenever you switch on the computer, what is happening when the computer is off, why you are not able to have the access? Like for example, when my laptop was off, I could not see this presentation. But when the laptop is on, then only I can see the presentation. What makes it different? Who is that, the person to help me, who is helping me to getting access to my PPT? When it was off, I was not able to get access. When it is on, I'm able to get the access to my PowerPoint presentation. What is happening? Why? What parameter? What factor will be responsible for that? Who is responsible for that? Anybody can tell me? Yes? Anybody?
Sir, please repeat question. Not
आवाज नहीं लगा?
हाँ.
My question is, when we switch on the computer, जब हम computer on करते ना, it will take some time, right? And after some time, maybe after a couple of minutes, to begin with, there won't be anything on screen, right? But after some time, you will get something appears on the screen, and you will be able to get access to the various files and all the data which is stored in the computer, right? Who is helping you? What makes it different? Which software rather? My question is, which software is helping you to get access to the data which is there in the computer once you switch on the computer?
Memory.
Windows system.
Memory. What else?
Software.
This is what we call as operating system. Please mute your mic. This is called as operating system, because operating system, where is the in the destination of where the operating system resides? Operating system always resides on hard disk. कहाँ होती है operating system? आपके hard disk में होती है. Whenever you are switching the computer on, the booting process will be initiated. We call it as a booting process. Booting process means the transfer of operating system from your hardware from hard disk to the memory of the computer, internal memory of the computer, the scratch pad, RAM of the computer. Okay, what happens whenever you switch on the computer? The operating system which is there on the hard disk, the operating system will be transferred to the RAM or internal memory of the computer, and as a result of that, you will be able to operate the computer. That is why it is called operating system. So therefore, it will be like operating system will help you to get connected to the data. It will help you to have communication with the computer. मतलब operating system आपको help करती है computer के साथ communicate करने के लिए. If you don't have operating system, you won't be able to communicate to the computer. Okay, this is the operating system. There are different operating system like Windows 10. Okay, Linux. These are the operating systems. Now there is one more software which is called compiler. What compiler will do? Compiler will convert high level language into low level language. Computer doesn't understand whatever language we are talking about. Computer doesn't understand this. Computer understands only active low and active high, logic 0 and logic 1. Computer understand only logic 0 and logic 1, which is called machine language. The language which consisting of logic 0 and logic 1, language which consisting of the machine code called as machine language. Okay, called as machine language. Compiler will convert the high level language into machine language. Compilers will convert high level language into machine language. Then we have got drivers. You must have seen, like you have got some some software on the mobile, but somebody must have told you that no, you don't have drivers. Let us say you have computer in your house, computer, laptop, and if you want to connect that to the printer, you need drivers. So drivers are a software which will provide you connectivity between two different hardwares. Let us say computer with your printer. Without driver, you will not be able to connect your printer to your computer. And therefore, there are three important software: operating system, compilers, and driver. These are called system softwares. Because system needed that. Why is it called system software? Because these softwares are needed for the system configuration, system operation. Okay. Whereas, as far as, just wait, wait for a while. Are you able to see the screen? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whereas we have got some application software. What are those application software? Like MS Word, Media Player. Okay, these are some of the application software. Why it is called application? Because you want to do something else. Let us say what MS Word will help you. MS Word will help you to do some manipulation. Like let us say, for example, I want to write some later, right? And I want to communicate, send it to somebody else, right? So for that purpose, I need MS Word. Media Player, I want to execute some files, like some video or audio file, right? For that purpose, I need Media Player software. So these are some application software. What does it mean? It means that system will have two different kind of software. One is called system software, another is called application software. Now let us think about microcomputer system structure. This is more detailed structure of microcomputer. You can see, because earlier was a very broad structure of microcomputer. This is more detailed structure of microcomputer. Okay. Now you can see, first of all, we talked about the microcomputer, innermost rectangle. Okay. This microprocessor consisting of ALU, CU, and register. Register means memory. Registers means memory. Okay. And then you can see next rectangle is microcomputer, in which you can see we have got these three things like CPU and RAM, ROM, and port. This become a microcomputer system. You can see here we have discussed like CPU, memory, and RAM, ROM, port. It's called as a microcomputer system. And IO device is outside the microcomputer system. You can see this is microcomputer, not system, this is microcomputer, and this as a whole become a microcomputer system. Outer square, which consisting of system software, application software, IO devices. Okay, there are two different input device and output device. We should call it as input device and this is output device. What does it mean? You can see the innermost rectangle, which is microprocessor, consisting of ALU, CU, and register. Then next microcomputer, which consisting of CPU plus RAM, ROM, and IO port. And then entire system will consisting of CPU, RAM, ROM, IO port, system software, application software, and IO devices as well. Now, what is microprocessor? Now we started from computer. microcomputer, and then we are approaching to the microprocessor. What is microprocessor? Microprocessor is basically the CPU circuitry can be reduced to IC, integrated circuit scale, consisting of ALU, CU, and registers. This is one. Contains internal RAM, ROM, but no IO ports on the chip itself. And these are the examples. What does it mean? It means that microprocessor is integrated circuit. Microprocessor is an integrated circuit in which we have got ALU, CU, and registers. Microprocessor is integrated circuit which consisting of arithmetic logic unit, control unit, and memory. Memory means register, which also consisting of RAM, ROM. Registers means we can call it as a RAM, ROM, but no IO ports. Microcomputer doesn't have IO port, but microcomputer system will have IO port, but microprocessor doesn't have IO port. It has got only ROM, RAM. The example of microprocessors are 8086. There are different families rather. 8086 Intel families: 8088, 8086, 80386, 80486, Pentium. These are the Intel microprocessor, example of Intel microprocessor. And we have got another company, Motorola's rather. Motorola's has got 680 family, 68000, 68010, 68020. So these are the example of microprocessor. So what is ultimately microprocessor? Microprocessor is integrated circuit consisting of ALU, CU, and memory. That's it. A very simple definition, which is integrated circuit consisting of arithmetic logic unit, CU, and memory. Okay. And examples of 8088, 8086, 80386, Pentium microprocessors, Intel microprocessor and Motorola's microprocessors are 6800 families. Okay, and we are going to discuss 8086, which is from Intel. This is the change of microprocessor generation. This is what we call as evolution of microprocessor. If we look at this, the evolution microprocessor started from 1970. Evolution of microprocessor started from 1970s. It was 4004 microprocessor. Then 8008, 8080. So this 4004 was 4-bit microprocessor. 8080, 8008, and 8080 was 8-bit microprocessor. Okay. Then comes 8086. 8086 is 16-bit microprocessor. Now we are going to discuss 8086, which is 16-bit microprocessor. Whereas 8008, 8080, 8085, they have not mentioned here. There is one more, which is 8085 as well. All are 8-bit microprocessor. Then 8086, as I mentioned, 16-bit microprocessor. Then comes 286, 386, then Intel 486. So 286, 386, and 486. These are all 32-bit microprocessors. Okay. And then Intel Pentium microprocessor, Pentium 8 processor, Pentium 8.2, Pentium 8.3, Pentium 8.4. This is how the evaluation. And then Itanium 1 and Itanium 2. Okay, so this is how the microprocessor has started evaluation, right from 4-bit microprocessor to 8-bit. Now it is 64-bit microprocessor. Now there is a concept of Moore's law. What is this Moore's law? Moore's law states that the number of transistors on microchip doubles about every 2 years. What he has observed? He has observed that after every 2 years, the number of transistors getting double on the same dimension. So dimension is same, but the number of transistors getting double. You can see this axis. This is years. This is number of microprocessor, and these are the number of transistors. You can see, first of all, there were 1000 transistors, and then here something here 10,000 transistors, something here 1 lakh, and so on and so forth. You can see there is a huge increasing number of devices on the same chip, and that is why you can see the difference. 8086 is here, okay, which was somewhere in the middle of 1975 to 1980. Okay, somewhere 1978, 8086 microprocessor came into existence. Now we are having Pentium, maybe Pentium 8, 9, 10 version today, truly speaking, as in today. So we have got very latest microprocessor. Now the question is, although 8086 is so old microprocessor, why this has been included in the syllabus? Why not Pentium 8? Why not Pentium 8? The reason is, whenever you are having advanced microprocessor, the architecture goes on getting more and more complex. The architecture of the microprocessor getting more and more complex, and it would be very difficult for you to understand the internal architecture. The ultimate aim of this particular course is to make you understood, or make you understand what kind of internal structure, how the data is flowing within the microprocessor, and which is not possible for any other higher version microprocessor except 8086. So there was even even today in BSc level, you must have discussed, you must have studied 8085, and many like in BSc electronics, I guess they have 8086 microprocessor even at BSc level too. So this is kind of repetition, but we are going to discuss advanced version rather. I mean, more depth. We are going to see the in-depth operation of 8086 microprocessor, which you may not have learned during your undergraduation. Okay, so this is how the evaluation of microprocessor takes place rather. You can see this is one more. I can tell you how the operation, how the generation of microprocessor evolved. First generation between 1971 to 1973. This is the first generation microprocessor. We call it as a 4-bit microprocessor. Okay, first generation microprocessor. Then we got a second generation microprocessor during 1973. Okay, the example of second generation microprocessor was Intel 8085, which was 8-bit microprocessor. Then we got third generation microprocessor in 1978. 8086 microprocessor is the example of third generation microprocessor, which is called 16-bit microprocessor. This is what we are going to study. Okay, and then we got fourth generation microprocessor in 1980s, fourth generation. Okay, which are 386 microprocessor, and then the fifth generation are Pentium microprocessor onwards, right? So now we are, as far as the generation of microprocessors are concerned, we are in the fifth generation microprocessor. Okay, as on today, the microprocessor which are being used in the computer. Okay, but still we cannot study those because these are very complex microprocessor. Internal architectures are very complex. You will not be able to understand. Whereas 8086 microprocessor has got the kind of 8085 could have been far better. 8086 stands in between. It is not that much easy, but not that much complicated, and that is why that has been included in the syllabus of MSc. What are the functional block of 8086 microprocessor? Okay, now functional blocks are, you can see in we are going in more and more details of 8086 microprocessor now. So you must have understood now what is microprocessor. Microprocessor is integrated circuit which has got CPU, control unit, and memory. CPU, control unit, and memory. Right now, there are different version of microprocessor: 4-bit microprocessor, 8-bit microprocessor, 60-bit microprocessor, 32-bit microprocessor. Different generation of microprocessor that also we have discussed. So we are going to discuss third generation microprocessor, which is 8086 microprocessor. So 8086 is third generation microprocessor, which came into existence in 1978, and which is 16-bit microprocessor. Okay, so you need to remember this. 8086 microprocessor came into existence in 1978, which is the third generation microprocessor, and which is 16-bit microprocessor. This we are going to discuss. Now these are different functional block of 8086 microprocessor. What are those functional block? You can see arithmetic logic unit. ALU is going to be one of the very important block. Then flag registers. I'm going to discuss in detail. Don't worry, because today this diagram I will not be discussing in detail, but we will discuss in detail. What is flag register? What is the role? Okay. So these are the important functional blocks of 8086 microprocessor. We have got ALU. In general, let me tell you what the flag register is all about. Flag register is, you see, whenever we are going outside, like whenever we are playing cricket match in England or Australia, our flag is always going to be shown there. Whenever Australian team or England team is going to come to India to play, on the top of their ground, you can see the two flags would be there. One Indian flag, other would be England flag. What is the purpose? Flag always indicates something. Whenever you are having one flag, it means it indicates something. Okay, and we know the flags of all the countries are very famous, very unique, and known to everybody. And by looking at the flag, you can see, okay, this is Indian flag and England flag. It means in this particular ground, the two teams are playing the cricket match. It is quite obvious. Just to indicate that what is happening. Similarly, in microprocessor, whatever flag register is there, whatever is happening within the processor, it is going to be reflected in the flag register. How? That I'm going to tell you later in detail. Then timing and control unit, in whenever you are giving some instruction, let us say add 2 plus 3, add 2 and 3. So that is going to be instruction, right? So whenever you are giving instruction to microprocessor that add 2 and 3, it means there must be some control block within the processor that will receive the instruction, accordingly generate the control signal, and make it sure that that operation is being performed. And that is what it is being done by this is how it is being done by timing and control unit. The role of the timing and control unit is to receive the instructions, generate the control signal, and makes the operation happening. Okay, whatever the operation is there, that is going to be executed. Then we have got PC/IP. IP is instruction pointer, because whenever we are talking about program, there will be program cannot be single line program, right? Because instruction can be single instruction, but program can be multi instruction program. Let us say you got 10 different instruction in single program, right? So what we have to do, let us say there are 5 different tasks. You are at home, your mother asks you to do 5 different tasks. Okay, what you are going to do, you are going to prioritize those 5 tasks. Prioritize means आप डिसाइड करोगे कि ठीक है, मम्मी ने मुझे 5 टास्क दिए, तो मुझे क्या पहले करना है, राइट? सो we are going to give the priorities to number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5, whatever. Then what you are going to do? First of all, you are going to do first, then second, then third, fourth, and fifth. Who is going to tell you? Who is telling you to do that? Once you prioritize that, nobody is going to ask you. You on your own, you are going to do it, right? So पहला खत्म होते ही आप अपने आप को बताएंगे कि अच्छा पहला खत्म हुआ, मुझे अभी सेकंड करना है. जैसे कि now अभी whenever this particular link is going to be terminated, what you are going to do? You are going to again rejoin. Why? Who told you? I told you to begin with. This is how you have to do. But later on, I'm not telling you every time, right? So what you are doing? Your memory is going to tell you that okay, you have to do this. Okay. So if there are 5 different instructions, so you have to do this first, this first, this first, this first. Okay. So this is because we are human beings. That is why the human beings are one of the strongest machine on the planet. Very complex as well. Okay. Microprocessor doesn't have brain on its own. They cannot take decision, and therefore that there has to be some unit within the processor which will take care of this tracking of the instruction. Instruction pointer is going to take care of tracking of instruction. Tracking means कौन सा instruction कब execute करना है. Who is going to take care? Instruction pointer. I am going to discuss this again more detail. This is brief introduction I am giving you. Okay. Then instruction decoding unit. Instruction decoding unit का मतलब क्या होता है कि whenever let us say MOV AL, BL. MOV AL, BL. MOV AL, BL is one of the instruction. What does this means? This means इसका मतलब ये है कि AL and BL ये 2 registers है. एक register का data दूसरे register में जाना चाहिए. This is what the instruction is. Okay. But how it is going to be understood by the processor? हमें पता है MOV stands for moving, AL means one register, BL means another register. लेकिन microprocessor को कैसे पता चलेगा? That has to be decoded. So there is one block which is going to decode all those instructions. Okay, and then this is register array or internal memory. So whenever you are having the set of instruction, all those instructions are to be loaded inside the processor one by one. It's not all, but one by one. Okay. And then this is going to be loaded in this this array of the this is register array, or we can call it as a memory. So these are the important functional block of microprocessor. So because this I'm going to discuss in detail, but I thought let me give you the brief idea. So maybe after 10 minutes this is going to be terminated, and then we are going to have the last session. That session will be dedicated only for question answer. Okay. So but we can have a 5-minute break after this. Okay, whenever this session is going to be broken down or terminated, you can have a 5-minute break, can drink water and go to washroom and come back within 5 minutes, and then there will be question answer session. So I'm going to finish this within 5-10 minutes. You can see this is what I have discussed. Okay, you see this is computational unit, perform arithmetic and logical operations. This is flag register. Various conditions of the results are stored as a status bit, as a flags register, because that I am going to discuss in detail later. This is internal storage of data. This is you can see generate the address of the instruction to be fetched from the memory and sent through the address bus to the memory. I know you will not be able to understand this as in today, right? That is why you don't get confused with these statements. I'm going to discuss all those in details, right? So overview of microprocessor. This is overview. So this is first 16-bit microprocessor released by Intel in 1978. So we are talking about overview of 8086 microprocessor now. We are going to in details because we started from computer broad version, and then what is microcomputer, what is microprocessor, okay, and now details of microprocessor, right? So this is a first 16-bit microprocessor released by Intel in 1978. Originally it was HMOS, now manufactured by HMOS third technique. Now HMOS kya hai? That this I will ask you to do some homework. Okay, you in Google you Google it and see what is the meaning of HMOS. If you are not able to get the answer, in next lecture you can ask me question, but there would be some homework every time, okay, for you. It has approximately 29,000 transistors. This is 40-pin DIP and 5-volt supply. Dwelling DIP means dwelling package. 40 pin hai is IC ko, and approximately 29,000 transistors hai, and it requires 5-volt supply. Does not have internal clock. External asymmetric clock source with 33% duty cycle. It doesn't have internal clock. We have to provide clock out from outside, and duty cycle is 33%. 20-bit to access memory. As far as the data bus is concerned, it has got 16-bit data bus. But as far as the address bus is concerned, it has got 20-bit address bus. This is the difference. In 8085, data bus was 8-bit, address bus was 16-bit. Whereas in 8086, data bus is 16-bit and address bus is a 20-bit. That you need to remember. These are some of the fundamental aspects that you need to remember every time. Okay. Addressable space is organized in 2 banks. In fact, like since it has got, you see, most importantly, since it has got 20-bit address bus, what should be memory? 2 to the power 20. Memory will be 2 to the power 20. 2 to the power 20 will be 1 megabyte. Now, how to reach this? Let me tell you. You can write, you can take pen and paper, and I will tell you how to reach this 1 megabyte. Pen and paper you take, and you please write down which I am telling you. Okay. 2 to the power 0. What is it? You can unmute. 2 to the power 0 is
1 0.
No, 2 to the power 0
1,
is
sir.
1. 2 to the power 2 is
It's 4, sir.
2 to the power 2, write it down 4. 2 to the power 3, 8.
8.
8. 2 to the power 4, 16. 2 to the power 5,
32.
32. 2 to the power 6,
64.
64. 2 to the power 7,
128.
2 to the power 8,
256.
56. 2 to the power 9,
512.
512. 512. 2 to the power 9 is 512. 2 to the power 10,
124.
1024.
1024 means 1K. 102.
1024.
आवाज कोणा ज्यांच्याकडून आवाज येतो त्यांनी बंद करा माईक. किरणचा येतो वाटतं मला वाटतं.
नाही सर माझा नाहीये.
अच्छा कोणाचा आहे?
रूम मध्ये बसलेला आहे.
हा सर माझं येतोय. करतात.
बंद कर बेटा बाकीचे नाव. हा 2 to the power 10 किती सांगितलं आपण लास्ट?
1024.
हा 2 to the power 10 is 1024. 2 to the power 11 1024 is 1K.
2048.
1024 is 1K.
110. हाँ sir. हाँ.
Okay. Now you mute your mouth all, because we are having a lot of disturbances. Then 2 to the power 12 will be 2K. 2 to the power 13 would be 4K. 14 would be 8K. 16 would be 16K. 17 would be 32K. 18 would be 64K. 19 would be there is something wrong in between. So like that, 2 to the power 20 would be 1 megabyte. Because I don't have a blackboard here, so I will not be able to draw that. So like that, 2 to the power 20 would be 1 mega. 1 mega means 1 into 10 to the power 6. What does it mean? It means that whenever you are having 20 address lines, you will be having how many memory? 1 megabyte memory. It means you can interface 1 megabyte memory to one Edge Axis microprocessor. Background noise, when you are having background noise, I don't know. You need to make it sure that you are sitting in the room of your house where you should not have any disturbances, so that you can switch on your mic and you can raise the question as well. Similarly, if you are having 2 to the power 16, 2 to the power 16 means 64K. 2 to the power 16 means 64K. So you will be having 64K memory, right? So this is how the memory is going to be calculated. Okay, you can see here it is given uses separate 16 bit. So okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to tell you all those details which are there on the screen. Okay, the important points only I'm going to highlight again. One is, as far as Edge Axis microprocessor is concerned, this is a 16-bit microprocessor going to existed in 1978. It has got approximately 29,000 transistors. It is 40-pin dual-in package, require 5-hour clock pulse. It doesn't have internal clock, and external asymmetric clock source is required with 33% duty cycle. It has got 16-bit data bus and 20-bit address bus. And since it has got 20-bit address bus, you can interface 1 megabyte memory. Okay, so this is how the overall overall information about Edge Axis microprocessor. Now today I'm going to stop here, because we are going to have one more session just for having your questions. Okay, so it is going to be terminated soon, but I'm not going to in the coming session I'm not going to teach you anything. Rather, you can raise the question. Whatever today we have discussed, we can raise the question and then we will summarize. Okay, this is how the things are. And so in general today what we have discussed what the microcomputer is, what is the microcomputer block diagram, different blocks, then what the microprocessor is, and then some important information about the 16-bit microprocessor. Evolution of microprocessor also we have discussed, and then at the end we have discussed some important information about 16-bit microprocessor, which is Edge Axis microprocessor. With this, I'm going to stop here today, and then after this session, the last session would be for only question answer. Okay.